BetOnline remains your number one source for all your sports betting this season. Everything from pro, college basketball, UFC, MMA, and more. You always find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends at BetOnline. With live betting options, free contests, and live scores for almost any sport or game imaginable. Bet Online is truly the fastest and easiest way to bet all your favorite leagues and events. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to join and receive a 50% off welcome bonus with your first deposit. Make sure you use the promo code BLEAV, BLEAV, to receive your rewards. BetOnline.ag, where the game starts, was a proud sponsor of the Bossman Show on your radio. Folks, back on the Bossman Show, celebrating March Madness, Southland Conference champions, back-to-back Texas A&M Corpus Christi Islanders down there with my man Steve Lutz. Coach Lutz, thanks for coming on the show for the fourth time in your 2 years, man. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great. This is probably not good to say on the air, but man, I forgot about the daylight savings. Like I forgot we were losing an hour last night.
Me and you both, Coach. And I'm in Nashville. So I'm used to be on Eastern time zone, so I'm lost. But like, whoa, okay. So yeah. I'm with you, Coach.
Yeah, all good, man. All good. That just means we're going to hear our name called an hour earlier, so no complaints.
Yes, indeed, man. How's it feel, man? 2 years of Corpus Christi, back-to-back tournament bids, man. How's it feel, man?
I mean, it feels great. You'd be lying if you tried to minimize it because you've got a group of guys that, as we talked about probably before, took a chance on this university, took a chance on me. We took a chance on one another. And now, we're doing something that's never been done in the history of the university before. And I don't think it's been done in our league since like the early 90s. So for us to be able to do this is fantastic. I'm excited for these guys.
I know we talked when we first got this job, man, how you wanted to build this thing up, man. And seeing what we talked about the first time we talked last year about when you got this job, man, your vision's been put into place. You got the culture in place. You talk about hitting the right guys and the relationships with young men. I think you've done a great job of that. Because when I watch you all play, man, you're so connected, so together, so into it, and those things matter. And I feel like fans are saying that when a team's connected, they can overcome anything. And I feel like that's really what your team is about, Coach Lutz.
Yeah, no, I mean, we've got good players. Don't kid yourself. But those guys' egos are not through the roof. Like Travion Tennyson. Trey is one of the best shooters in this country. This year, and in the championship game, Northwestern State denied to basically face guard him. So, when people face guard you, the best thing you can do is become a screener. And so I had him setting ball screens, and now we're shooting layups, and he doesn't care. He's just happy that we won. So, I just think that goes from top to bottom, that those guys, they don't really care about their accolades as much as us winning. And it's, that's more a testament to them that they're good people. And obviously they're about the right things.
No doubt. And your team overcame adversity as well, because Terry Young goes out early in that game. Yeah. And you had guys step up. So you pretty much played 7 guys pretty much the whole game there to beat a team for the third time this season. So talk about just seeing, like you said, your youngest character, man, because when you win your main guy goes down a championship game, sometimes like OMG, but for your guys, like, it's time to step up. Sometimes
yeah, for sure. No, and those guys, they went through a little bit of shell shock. There was a couple minutes there where we're like, man, we got to recalibrate things. Because we don't have Terry on, and man, I don't know the last time we haven't had Terry on. And obviously he's a good basketball player, and he's able to create offense and make things easier for others. So we had to get our feet back up under us. But like, Terrion and Jalen, they go at it every single day in practice. I very seldom put them on the same team. I always make them go against one another just from the competitive side. And they've started together 90% of the year. So, for Jalen now to just go from maybe being a 50-50 ball handler to now being the 100% ball handler, it's no different than practice. And that's the good thing about having depth and having good players, is because they make one another better. A lot of people use the cliche of iron sharpens iron. I mean, it's never more true in college athletics, because those two guys made one another better each and every day.
No doubt, Coach Lutz, like you said, man, competition breeds great play, because if this guy can take my minutes, if I don't perform up to my standards, this guy can do it for me. So I feel like there's just that simple fear of competition and wanting to keep my spot is healthy. I feel it's very healthy. I don't feel like you should give anybody a spot. And that's good also, because competition makes you understand everybody's roles as well. I know when I played football, I had to know the X, Y, and Z receivers, even though I was the Z. I had to know everybody's position. So knowing that we compete against each other, I feel like if I had to do something, I could do it. I feel like that's what I'm saying with your team. Your guys stepped up. They compete in practice, and there you go. In a tough game, they come through.
Yeah, for sure. And that's a testament to those guys, and they've been battle tested. There's no questions about it. I mean, we've been through some good games, throughout both seasons. And when sometimes you win them, sometimes you lose them, but when you're going through those games, you're gaining experience. And at the end of the day, that experience, it was invaluable for us, and especially in the championship game.
And Coach Lutz, I really want fans to understand this about your league and basketball in general right now in college basketball. It's a possession game. It's about the intangibles. It's not so much about talent per se, but really it's about a free throw blackout, loose ball here, get on the floor, taking a charge. All those little small things equate to wins. And you all want this year, close games this year. I feel like those qualities and intangibles helps you win a lot of close games this year to get you to 23 wins again as you did last year.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. It wasn't until yesterday somebody told me that we had 23 wins, which was the same amount of wins we had last year. But yeah, no, I mean, baseball, football, basketball, it's all the same. It's a game of possessions. And, if I get more attempts at the basket, then I'm probably going to win the basketball game. And so then it just gets down to, well, how am I going to get more attempts at the basket? Well, I'm going to create turnovers. Well, they have one less attempt. I get one more attempt. Do I get offensive rebounds? Again, I'm getting more attempts at the basket. And then, do I get to the free throw line and get points while the clock is stopped? You add those up, and the culmination of all of them, it's going to usually be successful for you. So, we're no different than anybody else, no matter what sport it is, in terms of just trying to get more offensive possessions and more time, control the ball more time during the game than anybody else.
And of the 23 wins, Coach Lutz, you doubled your Southland wins to 14 from 7. So if not kind of 2 in the tournament. So how about that, doubling your wins in conference play? Because that's very important to, like you said, gain confidence and get what you get, a good seed, hopefully not a 16 seed, hopefully. But we got to be there, of course. But talk about that, man, going from 7 to 14 wins in the Southern Conference, which is a tough league this year.
Yeah, and first thing I'd tell you is we weren't as good in the non-conference as we had been. Now, with that being said, our non-conference schedule was much tougher. So if you look by and large across our league, because you in the non-conference have to play, X amount of guarantee games or bring in certain amount of dollars for the university, you usually don't have a great non-conference record. In our first year, everyone wanted to play us because they didn't think we were going to be any good, and then we ended up being pretty good. But then once we got to the league last year, we got a little full of ourselves, and anytime human nature sets in and you get a little full of yourselves, and you get away from being an everyday guy and busting your tail and staying true to the process every single day, you get screwed up. And that's what happened to us. And this year we did a much better job with that, with the exception of a week where we went on the road to Lamar and Houston Christian, where we did not play very good defense. By and large, I thought, 75-85% of the season, we played great defense throughout the year. And that's what's been our key, is that we've been a really good defensive team.
No doubt that definitely travels no matter what shots that go, that defense can travel and stop people for sure. And I want to ask you about this. You got an 8-game win streak in conference play. Drop the game at home to Commerce. So how did you use that to refocus your team to get them to? I never said a loss is a good thing, but say coach them harder because of a loss. Sometimes when you win, it hides your flaws to a degree. So how was that game to Commerce a good reset for you guys to push forward now?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I don't know that I had to coach them any harder. Sometimes I don't know how. Sometimes in life you have to kind of get maybe punched in the mouth, or you have to have something happen to you so that you will believe those that are telling you what's about to happen to you, if that makes sense. And I kept telling them, guys, you can't look past Commerce. You can't look towards Northwestern State on homecoming Saturday and winning the league title. And you have to focus on the next game ahead, which we've been pretty good at all year. But they didn't do that. And shoot, man, we let them shoot 63% from the floor during the game, which you let them score 2 out of every 3 shots, you're not going to win very many games. With that being said, we scored the ball against them pretty well. But nonetheless, I kept saying it, and then we go out and we don't play up to our capabilities defensively, so we lose the game. And you go in the locker room and, you have 2 choices at that point. You can either go crazy on them and lose your mind, or you can talk civilly to them and try to sit them down and talk logically. And I chose the latter. And so the next day, that Friday in practice, we had a good practice. And then obviously Saturday, we played Northwestern State and were able to clinch the title on our home floor. But, we're all humans, man. And we sometimes, it's like my mom and dad used to say, like, you hear me, but you ain't hearing me. And sometimes our guys are like that too. And that's what happened to us against Commerce.
I can attest to that, Coach, because I will tell you this. Going to Tennessee State, we played the OVC schools, we weren't up for them.
Mm-hmm.
It was on the ABC schools we played, we got up for. I'm not going to tell you no lie about it. Our conference record is always terrible. We only cared about playing Grambling, Southern, and all those guys. We didn't care about playing Austin Pease or UC Martin. We didn't care. But for them, we was their big game. We didn't care about our bowl was playing them other schools. So I can attest to that. If you don't follow focus, you can get beat on the field. I've seen it. I've experienced it myself. I know this to be true.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
And while playing football, it's not good to be out there not thinking, but we did it. I'm sorry we did it to football. We did not give you our best against some other school. But yes, let me ask this, Coach. Beat Northwestern State. Corey Gibson's team did a great job, and John Akins' team 3 times. Like, how tough is it to beat teams 3 times in one season, man?
Yeah, I mean, it's extremely hard. I mean, because everyone's going to make a game adjustment, or they're going to try something and maybe they exploit you a little bit. And Corey Gibson did that each and every game. He had something different in his bag of tricks for us. Like the first 2 games, they didn't deny Trey Tennyson. And then obviously in game 3, they did. In game 2, they ran some 1-3-1 zone and they trapped and stuff like that. So yeah, no, it's hard. But I think, if you have a good foundation with your team and you have, certain values and certain things that you always do, we always try to talk about playing in transition and playing fast. And we always talk about spreading the floor and, getting 2 or 3 people onto the basketball and then moving the basketball so that you have an advantage on offense and those sorts of things. If you stick with your principles and your values, there's only so many things that you can do in college basketball. It's like nobody's going to invent some new defense probably this year. They just aren't. So if you're able to do or you're able to have those those principles within your program, you're usually able to handle whatever's kind of thrown at you. And like I said, man, when they went boxing one or triangle and two, or they went, face guarding, our principles and what we had worked on all year, that kicks in, and then you're able to, maybe take advantage of it, after a timeout and those sorts of things from the coaching perspective.
Got two more for you, Coach. What about Owen D's off the bench for you in the championship game? Young freshman, 16 points, man, stepping up for you. About his development over the season, man.
Man, Owen's a great story. We redshirted him last year because he hurt his knee and had to have surgery. And then we're in October, I believe it is. Owen dives for a loose ball in practice. And one of the other players did not dive for the loose ball. And he dove on that person's foot. And so he lands on his foot and it collapses his lung. So He misses another, I don't know, 4 weeks for sure, because he was playing well. And then, he comes in the middle and you're behind, you've missed practice for a month, a little bit longer. And he starts off just shooting the ball poorly. I think at one point he might've been 0 for 12. And his practice stats from the 3-point line is he's a 40+ 3-point shooter, and he shoots a lot of them. I mean, that's what he does. He's always been a good shooter. So finally he got his groove on a little bit later in conference play, and he made a couple at Commerce. He made a couple here and there. And then obviously, as the fellas like to tell him, it was his time to shine against Northwestern in the championship game, and he stepped up and made big shots for us.
So what do you all have planned today, Coach? I'll be heading back to Atlanta fast to be with us all tonight, the selection show. So what do you all have planned for your Islander fans, man?
Yeah, no. We've got a huge celebration on campus today. They've got everybody in the city and get people on campus. It's tough because spring break starts on Monday, so there's not a lot of students here. But we'll have a tremendous amount of support there. We'll have a ballroom, and you have the band and the cheerleaders and all those sorts of things. So it should be a fun day for us, for the program, for the university, and for the city. I mean, the city of Corpus has been fantastic to us. They've really, really supported us, as we've gone throughout the season.
Coach, fans should Google the aerial shot of your university. It's beautiful. I would love to go to school on the island down there. So fans, check out Corpus Christi's campus on Google Maps. Look and get the satellite view of it. It's amazing.
Yeah, just Google Texas A&M Corpus Christi, and it's called Ward Island, WARD, Ward Island. People always ask me, how did you keep the team intact from year 1 to year 2? And I say, man, we go to school on an island. We have 250+ days of sunshine a year. We've got our own practice facility. We've got a great arena downtown. We've won basketball games. People are nice to you. I try to treat them right. We eat well, we travel well, all those sorts of things. Like there's not much else to look for. This is a pretty good deal. So, sometimes the grass ain't always greener, and luckily for us, our guys believe that and they stuck with us.
Coach, look, good to talk to you, brothers. Always fun. 4th time on the show, man. 2 years. When you're doing something right, Coach. You get us on 4 times, 2 years, you're doing something right, Coach. So, always good to talk to you, buddy. This is fun, man. Best luck to you in the tournament. Hope you get a great draw tonight, man.
Sounds good. Thank you, Bobby, man. Good luck to you, and get some sleep after it's all over.
I sure will. Thank you so much, Coach.
All right, buddy.
See you, man.
Bye-bye.
BetOnline remains your #1 source for all your sports betting this season. Everything from pro, college basketball, UFC, MMA, and more. You always find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends at BetOnline. With live betting options, free contests, and live scores for almost any sport or game imaginable. BetOnline is truly the fastest and easiest way to bet all your favorite leagues and events. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to join and receive a 50% off welcome bonus with your first deposit. Make sure you use the promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, to receive your rewards. BetOnline.ag, where the game starts, was a proud sponsor of the Bossman Show on your radio.